She was on the verge of a breakdown. It was especially unbearable when she saw her mother-in-law using the same pot she used for cooking food to wash her underwear. Yilin's tolerance reached its breaking point. Meanwhile, her husband, completely absorbed in his meal, didn't notice her distress. After dinner, her husband casually sat down to play games while Yilin went to wash the dishes. But when she finished and was about to leave for work, she discovered that her mother-in-law had re-washed the dishes she had just cleaned. The stark difference in their lifestyles made Yilin feel like a stranger in her own home. Besides this, every Friday night was the day her older sister-in-law would return home. On this day, the bathroom was always occupied, and her niece would constantly demand that Yilin read her fairy tales. Overwhelmed, Yilin used her secret weapon. She asked her niece if all the princes in the books looked the same and told her fairy tales were lies, with those princes guilty of bigamy. The niece didn't understand what bigamy meant, so Yilin explained that it meant the prince married not only the princess but also Sleeping Beauty, the Little Mermaid, and Cinderella. In an instant, the little girl's fairy tale dreams were shattered, and Yilin finally got a moment of peace. At the dinner table, her usually quiet father-in-law began to ramble on, and her older sister-in-law kept pressuring Yilin to have kids. Although Yilin kept saying that she wasn't ready for that, her sister-in-law acted as if she hadn't heard and kept sharing her own experiences of childbirth. Finally, at her breaking point, Yilin shouted, "There's a cockroach," which sent her sister-in-law running off. Her shout also brought her husband in from outside. At that moment, Yilin passed the household chores to him, just as the couple tried to have some intimate conversation. Her mother-in-law walked in, seeing her son washing the dishes. Her mother-in-law immediately took over. Just when Yilin thought she had avoided a crisis, her mother-in-law called her back and insisted that Yilin accompany her the next day, even though her husband explained that Yilin had to work at 9 a.m. Her mother-in-law pretended not to hear and insisted that Yilin join her at 5 a.m. The next morning, Yilin was dragged to the temple by her mother-in-law, endlessly subjected to her mother-in-law's brainwashing about having children. Yilin, already exhausted, once again thought about divorce. In fact, this thought hadn't formed overnight, it had built up piece by piece, like water gradually heating up until it finally reached a boiling point. Unable to take it anymore, Yilin ran out of the suffocating house. She saw an older woman riding a bike in the rain wearing a swimsuit. Her carefree attitude deeply moved Yilin. She returned home, wanting so badly to say the words, "I want a divorce," to her mother-in-law. But after holding it in for a while, she only managed to say, "I want to move out." Her mother-in-law was completely stunned, and her husband didn't dare to speak. Soon after, Yilin and her husband began discussing buying a house and moving out. They looked at one housing ad after another, luxury apartments, affordable homes, and even rural villas. But either the prices were too high or the locations too far. Yilin couldn't help but laugh in frustration at her husband, who asked, "Is it really that bad living at home?" Before he could finish, Yilin cut him off.